Hi, students. Part 2. Again, sustainable cities. All right. Before we come to the last paragraph, I want to review these two words. Okay. The first one is squat, used as a verb. Then you can see the example here. All right. I corrected the example. And then, if you want to say somebody who lives in a house that doesn't belong to him or her, then he or she is a squatter. Okay. Then the next one is shantytown. Okay. But next part is about sentence analysis. I want you to pay attention to this sentence. Because of this, many of the migrants are forced to live in the temporary squats and shanty towns, which are made of whatever materials the people can find. Pay attention to the underlined parts. Because of is a prepositional phrase, so you have to use a noun after it, not a clause, right? Not a clause with the subject, verb, and so on. Okay, it's different from because. Okay, so pay attention to this part. All right, and then and connect to similar things. All right, similar phrases and words in a part of speech. We call that is a parallel structure, right? And which are is the phrase that I add to this sentence, which means if you put which art in the later part of the sentence, then this part will become a relative clause. Okay, so different ways of writing the sentence. Okay, all right, and then we have to move to the last paragraph. All right, the main idea is the large population in cities cause eco problems. All right, I think you may have some idea about this, but I want to show you the uh, minor points. Okay, the first one is at the moment there are 1 billion people living in shanty towns, and this number could grow to 3 billion by 2050. All right, that means what? That means there are more crimes, there are more epidemic diseases, and there are risk risks of uh, social problems, more and more social problems. Okay, so I think it's quite urgent for people, for government to solve the problem, especially the housing problem for these under average people, underprivileged people. Okay, all right, and then the second point is if this happens, many cities in the future will be low tech, unhealthy places to live. Okay, and then the next one is lack of basic services like water, electricity, and sewage. That means the situation right now for the modern cities. And then creating a lot of waste and the greenhouse gases. This is also the cause of the change of the weather, right? Change of the climate. And that will lead to the damage to our earth, right? So I repeat this part. Creating a lot of waste and greenhouse gases as residents will burn their own fuel, all right? So these are the problems caused by growing population in the big cities. Right. Then I want you to learn this word, sewage. There may be different meanings of these words, but you have to look at the context. to decide what it means. Okay, it can mean waste matter such as water or human urine or solid waste, but it also can means the system of carrying away wastewater and human waste from houses and other buildings through large underground pipes and passages. Okay, so here I think in our textbook, sewage might means the second meaning. Okay, all right. So pay attention to the usages of this word. Okay. And then the next paragraph, the main idea is okay. Designers want to build eco-friendly cities. That is paragraph 5. There are some points here as well. Right? The first one is around the world, governments, city planners, and architects are trying to build a better future for city dwellers. Right? Dwellers means people who are living in a place. Right? And then the second point is they want to build comfortable, healthy places to live, which do not damage the environment. Oh, the latter part is the more important one, right? Which do not damage the environment. Okay, because our Earth is in danger, and the problem becomes serious and more serious. Okay, and then the next one is these are called eco cities or sustainable cities. Finally, we come to our main points of this lesson. Okay, and there are two minor points about so-called eco cities or sustainable cities. All right, the first one is they will not take anything from the local environment or create any waste. All right, and then the second point is to build this, the designers have tried to reconsider every aspect of city life. Then later on, we will see how many aspects they have to consider, they have to take into consideration, and what do they do with them. All right, learn this word, dweller. A person who lives in a city, town, cave. And then you can see the example here. Okay, all right, and then in the following paragraphs, we will see how the designers, city planners solve the problems of different aspects for building the sustainable cities. The first point is about food. Okay, cities can provide the food people need there, right? And what do they do? First of all, one important consideration is how the city feed themselves, right? They don't have to buy food from other places. Then, in this way, they will reduce the pollution of the transportation. Okay, I mean the vehicle emits, the air pollution that the vehicle emits. All right, and then the next point is to help reduce waste. Sustainable cities will have many small farming lots. All right, which means they people there, right, becomes farmers as well, right? And then the next one is right? People can produce their own food. All right, how to produce their own food? They, I think they can use new technology to help them. For example, to uh, grow the vegetable rice without using chemicals, grow them in houses, in greenhouses, or in water, or in a special liquids without using the uh, for the fertilizers and especially chemicals because chemicals are poisonous, right? Okay, and then the last one is the tops of skyscrapers could also be used for farming. All right, so they will create oxygen as well, right? Okay, and then they also give people uh, beautiful views. All right, so see the picture. Okay, I hope in the future, all right, we can grow our vegetables in this way. All right, and then the next one is energy. All right, sustainable cities will also have to create their own energy. But how? Okay, the first one is building will be covered in solar panels to capture the sun's heat. All right, I think the solar panels will become the main major to generate electricity. All right, and then the second one is there will also be large wind farms with huge wind turbines to make the most of the wind power. All right, wind farms. All right, we cannot build the wind farms in the skyscrapers, but we can build the wind farms near the seashore. Okay, and then number three, in order to cut down on waste and to create more energy, sewage will be used to create methane gas that will be used for cooking. All right. So I think methane gas might be a new term to you, right? Okay. So let's see what it means. All right. It's a kind of gas with no smell or color, often used as a film. And then I will give you a example here. Natural bugs can turn into both hydrogen and methane, right? And then in the latter parts, I will show you how methane gas is formed. All right, so that is the details. Natural gas formation. One of the process occurring on our ever-changing Earth takes a very long time. Natural gas is formed from marine organisms that die, sink to the bottom of the ocean, and they get covered with sediments. Sediments means naturally occurring materials that is broken down by process of weathering and erosion, and transported by the action of water, wind, or ice, and then sink in the bottom of rivers, lakes, and seas. Right? Okay, so they are natural materials, right? And then most of the dead organisms decades before becoming covered with sediments. Some of them, however, are buried along with the rest of the sediments. And as more and more sediment is deposited over time, the temperature slowly increases. All right, so you notice the temperature. If the pattern of the temperature increase is just right, some of the dead organisms are changed into natural gas and oil. Okay, so that is the way how methane gas is formed. Clear enough, right? And if you want to know the Chinese meaning, you can check it out, right, by yourselves, of course. Okay. And then the next aspect is about cooling. All right. Architects design buildings that can help people use less air conditioning. Okay. Air conditioning will cause the habitats of the polar bears, you know, without the places to live, right? Okay. And so the point is, architects can design large buildings that release hot air through the top of the building and suck in cooler air from lower down. Okay, all right. So, how the designer or an architect can do this? Okay, uh, I think just because architects can design large building, okay, just like the picture shows, okay, like this, all right, and then the hot air can be released, and then especially through the top of the building, and then the cooler air will be sucked from lower down. Okay, so I hope the picture can give you a clear idea about how the architects can make the building cool by itself. Then we don't have to use as much as air conditioning, right? Okay, and then the next aspect is about, okay, cooling again. Cities can also be cooled by having more green spaces and water features such as fountains and ponds. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's in the paragraph 9. All right. So, uh, first of all, we have to use less concrete and asphalt. All right, asphalt is a black material paved on the road, and if the weather is quite hot, then you will feel like the asphalt can burn something, such as eggs or your skin. All right, and then the second one is open areas and rooftops can be green spaces. All right, I think that is the ideal way for the architects to build uh, buildings in a sustainable city. I can tell you my experience. Okay, once I went to Japan, all right, and I had a chance to visit Meiji Jianggong, all right, and then you know this which you can say temple was located in Tokyo, right, the big city, the biggest city in Japan. But when I went to this temple, I felt that I was walking in the forest, right? Can you imagine? There was a forest in the middle of a big city, a city like Tokyo. All right, so that's why I think Japanese people can have the long lifespan. All right, uh, maybe their cities are more sustainable and more eco-friendly, I guess. Okay, right, and then that's the one. The main idea is about transportation. Okay, in sustainable cities, most journeys will create no air pollution. Oh, okay, that is the very important parts. All right, and there are 5 parts here, 5 points here. The first one, people will encourage to walk and cycle as much as possible. All right, in Tokyo, you will see a lot of people riding bicycles to walk or to shop. Okay, so uh, that's why the city is quiet, and I think the air is cleaner, right? Okay, and then the second one is there will be present tree-lined walkways that do not cross any roads. Okay, so that we can enjoy the uh, shades of the trees, right? And the green views. Okay, and then the next one is the cities will have environmentally friendly public transportation systems like trams, metro systems, and monorails that are electric powered, clean, comfortable, and cheap to use, right? Which means if the city have these kind of transportation systems, then uh, the air condition will be better. I mean, air pollution will be reduced, and people will uh, spend less taking transportation or taking or traveling. Okay, and then the next point is cities will also have more mixed areas with both businesses and housing, which means people will not have to travel far to work. All right, but actually, because of the internet and the computer, all right, most people can work at home, all right, or work everywhere, all right. So I think that will not a big problem if some business can be finished in house, right? At home, okay? Then people will not transport or commute very often. Then the air condition will become better, right? And then the next one is roads may even be designed to make driving cars difficult and inconvenient. All right. So the cities will be not so friendly to car drivers. All right. Maybe if we want to reduce the number of the cars, there's one way, especially in Taiwan. If you want to buy a car, you have to uh, prepare a parking space for your own car, and you have to propose the evidence. Okay, and then uh, maybe in this way, okay, people will reduce their willingness to buy a new car, right? I don't know. Maybe not, or maybe it is workable. Okay. Next one is about housing. Okay. This is very important, right? Because you see, when people live in the slums, then the problems of crimes and epidemic diseases and so many social problems will still be there, right? So, uh, what the architect will do? The first one is this will also mean people with different kinds of job will be able to share one community, right? So that is in paragraph 11, right? That means, all right, uh, we live in the community and we can self-sufficient of anything, all right? Food, all right, and power and energy and work and the business. Okay, then uh, the house will become cheaper, right? Okay, and then the next one is this will cut down on travel. All right, then people will not spend time more time, all right, traveling to work, and that will reduce the air condition, the air pollution, right? Okay, and then the last point is about what the architect or what the government are going to do. All right, many established world cities are successfully adopting some of the sustainable city ideas when they develop. Oh, all right, there are some examples here. Maybe for the references of the architects to plan or to design the future cities. Okay, the first example is Paris. All right, Paris has free bicycles for commuters, just like U-bikes in Taipei, I guess. Okay, and then the next one is London. London charges drivers to enter the city, which means if you want to drive your car into the city, you have to pay money to the government. Okay, and the next one is Dubai, right? New skyscrapers in Dubai have mixed housing and office space and are designed to use little energy, right? So because the skyscrapers in Dubai are more modern, right? So I think the technology can solve uh, the problems that all cities have, right? And then the next one is Denmark. Right, in Denmark, 20% of the energy supply for cities comes from wind farms. Okay, so in Denmark, maybe you can see a lot of wind farms, and maybe there are a lot of high winds there. So that's why they can use winds to generate electricity, right? Here, I will show you two words, and I hope you can learn them. The first one is incorporate. It's a verb here, all right? And the second one is charge. There are many meanings for charge, but here is a verb too, which means to ask a amount of money for something. Okay, so if you go to the museum uh, in some cities, okay, you might be charged. Okay, but in London, okay, if you go to so-called the greatest, the biggest museum, you don't have to be charged, but you can donate some money just for the development of the museum. All right, and then the next one I want to talk about architects from around the world have been invited by China to work on major city development projects. Well, as we know, China is growing, right, and is almost become the strongest or biggest country in the world, right? And many people in China become rich, and the government is rich too. And at the same time, more and more people, right? This country uh, has the largest number of population in the world, right? Okay, so that's no wonder that the government in China invited uh, architects or invited city planners to design the cities for their people, especially for the development of their future, right? Okay, so pay attention to 2 points. The first one is in China, governments are planning entire cities that will be environmentally friendly. All right, and then the second one is China is leading the way in designing big cities that can house its huge population. The second problem is something they have to do with. All right, it is very urgent. And as for the first one, don't forget, China is the country that creates the most carbon dioxide. All right, that means it is the source of the pollution, especially air pollution. All right, so the government is responsible for this, right? And so they have to take care of the people, take care of their country as well as the earth. Okay, and then their example here. For example, I don't know. Do you still remember the Olympic Games in 2008? Right, it was held in Beijing, right? So in Beijing there was a very famous stadium was built. That was built. Okay, uh, that was so-called Beijing National Stadium. It has a nickname, Bird's Nest. Okay, and then the following are the names of the architects. Okay, I think the music is quite suitable to introduce this building. All right, okay, and then we almost come to uh, the end of the lesson. All right, so we have to face the real problems that, especially in China, when they want to build the so-called sustainable cities. All right. Before that, I want to show you two sentences. Okay. The first one is, however, in some parts of the world, governments are planning entire cities that will be environmentally friendly. All right. Uh, Environmentally is the adverb, but friendly is an adjective. Okay. Even though they are the same services here. Okay, uh, the underlying part, the highlighted part is so-called relative clause. Remember, all right, relative clause. And then the second sentence is quite long. All right, this is especially true in China, which is leading the way in designing big cities that can house its huge population. There are two relative clauses here, which is all right. And then in this relative clause, there is another relative clause that can house its huge population. House here is a verb, right? Okay, so pay attention to the structure of these sentences. Okay, and then let's come to the next paragraph. The main idea is there are still some problems to be coped with in China. Okay, what are the problems? The first one is communication problems between foreign architects and the local builders. All right, they are foreigners, okay, and they have their own ideas about so-called sustainability, right? And then the second one is problems in financing these expensive projects. All right. Don't forget in the beginning, if you want to build a green building, of course it costs more than building an ordinary building. But in the long run, it saves energy, right? It saves your money, right? And then number three, buying large quantities of environmentally friendly building materials. Okay, all right. So where we can buy these materials, and they cost a lot. Okay, and then the next one is another sentence I want you to bear in mind to understand how it is structured. Okay, there have been there have also been problems in financing these expensive projects and in buying large quantities of and environmentally friendly building materials. Yeah, and of course, is a parallel structure, but this part there have also been, okay, is a perfect present perfect tense, right? The original one is there are problems. Okay, there are. All right, the sentence pattern is there and the verb be. Okay, but because the problem have existed for a long time, so we use the present perfect here. So being, there are becomes being, and then we use the auxiliary have here because problems are plural. Okay, right? So there have been problems means there are problems, but the problems have existed for a long time. So the sentence is a kind of present perfect tense. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. Okay, so why this sentence is written like this. Okay, right? And then let's come to almost the end, the next and also the last paragraph. Right? So I hope this picture will not cause problem to you. Okay. The first one is ITES and the governments learning from these problems. Okay, they know the problems and they are trying to solve the problems. And then solving these problems, helping improve the new projects they are working on. They are working on now. Okay, and then the next one is in the near future, many people around uh, the world have been able to enjoy new and a better way of life in comfortable, well-planned cities. All right, just like the happy children here. Okay, and then the last one, a model for the future. Okay, if the problems are solved and then the building has been built, then that will become a model for the future. All right, so the next one is the sentence analysis. There are two sentences I want to show you. Okay, the first one is, however, most experts agree that architects and the governments are learning from these problems, and solving these problems can help them improve the new projects they are working on now. All right, you have to know that here that architects and the governments are learning from these problems. This part is the noun clause, right? This that is not a pronoun, is a conjunction, right? And this part that this clause is the object of the verb agree, all right? So this is a subject, this is a verb, and this part is the object. All right, and then the second part after end, solving these problems is the subject, and it is a gerund. Gerund means the verb becomes a noun. Okay, and then this is a verb, the part of the verb, and help them of course means the architects, right? Improve the new projects they are working now. They also means the architects, right? There is something missing here. There is a relative pronoun missing here. Okay, so maybe there is that or which, right? And this part they are working on now is a relative clause, and on the subject, the object of on is the project. Okay, so that means they are working on the new projects. Okay, so this is the relative clause, and the relative pronoun is omitted, all right, and this is the noun clause, all right, and this part is the subject, okay, but this is not the verb, this is a noun here, okay. And then the second sentence is, hopefully in the near future many people in China and around the world will be able to enjoy a new and better life, a better way of life in comfortable, well-planned cities that can be a model for the future. Okay, we start this part first. Okay, that can be a model for the future is relative clause, right? Is an adjective clause to modify the cities, right? Okay, so that is a pronoun, but this that cannot be omitted. That means there is no that here, but there is a that here. This that is necessary. This that is not necessary. Okay, so that's why we can we have the choice to use it or not. Okay, but we don't have a choice. We have to use that here. All right, to make a relative clause to modify the cities. All right, and then this sentence is long too. Okay, so we can see the subject is here, many people, and then the verb is here. There is a module auxiliary will, right? Be able to means can, right? Okay, but we cannot put will and can together. So we have to turn can into be able to, all right? And after to, there is infinitive verb, all right? So, and then after we use of, this preposition to modified way. What kind of way? All right, way of life in comfortable and well-planned cities. Okay, so this sentence is quite long, but you have to know how it is structured and what is a subject, what is a verb, and what is the uh, complement or what is the object. What is the object? Okay. All right. And then that is the lesson itself. Uh, and the last part is about the mind map. Remember? Okay. We use mind map in the first lesson, as I remember, right? Unit 6, the first lesson. Again, okay, I hope you can use the mind map here. And then that is your turn to fill in the blanks, right? I won't give you the answers. All right. For example, to build a sustainable city, why do we need them? Okay, and the ways they can create energy, and about the transportation, what kind of transportation should be used, then the city can become sustainable. Okay, your turn, and don't forget, if you give the answers, you can get the extra points. Good luck, and I hope you can enjoy the new way of the film. And I hope you will not be distracted by the music of. All right, if you think the music is more enjoyable than my speech, okay, then that's fine. All right, and if you think you will, all right, become a problem during your listening to my lecture,